You run in on his shit, you fucking give him his receipt. You remember what a receipt is? Give him that fucking receipt, bro. Tag his shit. If you got a fucking problem with it, I'll fucking run out there. Tag his shit, bro.
Hey, what's up, yo? My name is Millennial Smark, and I'm bringing you the slop, the whole slop, and nothing but the slop. So I guess this is going to be a series now, right? Countdown till lockdown type shit. We got so much that we have to talk about at the moment. It's fucking crazy. This whole situation just refuses to die, but I'm here to talk about it. It's super interesting. We got to talk about RVD and him getting a bunch of shit because of all this. MrBeast randomly gets involved in this, which isn't a good and positive way. We got a health update so far from Mr. Psycho Stu, and Rampage Jackson is showing favoritism, which I'm pretty sure some of you guys are aware. Holy fuck. Did you see that intro though? Did you see that intro? Now, apparently, everybody is calling for the arrest of this guy. Apparently, his name is AJ Mana, I guess. That's the guy you've seen in the intro. He was the one stoking the flame. But here's my thing, though. For the amount of people who are calling for the arrest of AJ Mana for pretty much being an associate to all of this, right? A guy who was an accomplice, if you will. I agree to a certain degree, yes. And I guess this is where most of these ignorant opinions are stemming from, where everybody is saying, oh, you didn't know what a receipt was, boss. No one taught him what a receipt was. No, you don't have to be taught to not try and attempt murder on someone. I think when he meant receipt, he meant tag his ass, as he said in the video. But nevertheless, though, is he an accomplice to all of this? I don't know how that's going to be adjudicated or talked about when discussed in courts, because you know that's where this is going to go in the end of the day, and we're going to keep following all this shit as it goes up to that. But like I said, in the end of the day, as much as you want to put on AJ, which I agree, he should get some of the blame because he was an active participant in this. At the end of the day, you don't need to be taught that trying to kill a person is payback. Okay, even if you're saying, well, Devontae, how do you know he knows what a receipt is? You do not need to be taught that retaliation is attempted murder when you get hit in the head with a beer can. Do we have to have this discussion as adults? Apparently so. Apparently so. Oh, and unbeknownst to me, I just found out this little tidbit real quick. I'm just inserting this after post editing. Apparently this piece of shit loser bitch, he actually turned off his comments. Get the fuck out of here. Dude, if you're gonna actually create the fire, at least inhale the smoke. Are you serious? He actually turned off the comments, bro. What an actual fucking termite. Holy fuck. Holy shit. No, just keep, I'm not, okay, maybe I shouldn't go out of my way, suggesting that you guys should harass him. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not saying call to justice or call to action or anything like that. But dude, if you're gonna go out of your way to put yourself into a position where someone was on the brink of death because of your stupid ass reaction as a grown man, then I think there should be hefty consequences. At the very least, societal consequences, like, getting your fucking words eaten like a salad. I was going somewhere with that. Seriously though, you're a pussy. Stop turning off comments. Take your ass whooping like a man. Continuing on. But let's get on to the next game, because apparently RVD has some choice words, right? Now, we're going to see what he's actually going to say when he gets on his podcast. But apparently, and this is him quoting, he said, "So far, I got Rogers back. Looking forward to talking about it tomorrow on my podcast." And obviously, because with him saying something like that, it's going to rile up a bunch of emotions. People are going to see what he says. There's pretty much, I don't know, what would you say, like universal condemnation of what Roger Rampage did to Psycho Stu. And it's crazy because I look up and down my comments, especially from yesterday's video, and the amount of people, now, once again, as I reiterated in that video about the other video prior to that, obviously, these people are going to be in the minority. Obviously, these people are mental cases. These are letter A pictures. Like, these are the stereotypical people who, they come from the slums of society that you don't ever actually pay attention to. These are cretins. These are disgusting human beings. But I will say, to hear Rob Van Dam have the same take as these mongoloids, I will say that, okay, he's a person in the business. I horribly disagree with him, but I'm very curious to see his position. You know what I mean? like maybe he has some insight on this that he's going to, I don't know, give to us. I mean, I know people are pretty much written off RVD as being a psychopath. You know, people are saying that he's a piece of shit. People are calling out him marrying a porn star, and therefore he has no rule, he has no morals or no ethics, which is kind of the same thing. But my point being is, everybody has already dismissed Rob Van Dam, and I'm here to say I'm not going to dismiss him completely. I am actually 100% curious as to where RVD is going with this in the end of the day, because it's like maybe he has some relevant information that some of us is just dismissing outright, and maybe, who knows, he might actually, I don't know, change some people's minds in the end of the day, right? But then we get to the next thing in regards to this whole situation, and MrBeast throws his what would you say, his name into the hat, right? There are so many big content creators who are covering this shit from left to right. It's insane to think that like professional wrestling is getting the most light it has gotten in forever, and it's through these type of circumstances, right? And even worse, you know, it's through indie wrestling, because think about it. AEW last night just had their show, which I didn't even remember was even on, Forbidden Door. I ended up tuning into it like damn near like towards the main event, right? I came in at the very, very tail end of Swerve and Kazuchika Okada, and it's already overshadowed. It's already overshadowed. No one's talking about WWE. No one's talking about AEW. Everybody is talking about this incident in regards to Raja and in regards to Psycho Stu. And something else too that I felt I didn't touch on, but apparently this is all tied up with Rikishi somehow. Like apparently, I'm not sure if he runs the school exactly, but he's affiliated with the school. So that's something else that we have to be on the lookout for, because I'm pretty sure he's going to want to talk about this incident as well, right? But back to MrBeast, because apparently he's gonna pay his bills, which I think is absolutely cool. Now, you know, whenever something is related to MrBeast nowadays, there's always going to be, you know, it's going to be drenched in controversy because of all the things that he's been a part of. You know, obviously the stuff having to deal with the Feastables and the controversy with the Chris Tyson dude, and yes, I said dude, and all the shit surrounding you know, the fucking children and abusing them, or it's so much shit with MrBeast that you have to dissect it. And honestly, most of the shit has been blown completely out of proportion, and most of the shit that I see isn't even relevant to what would be considered negative. He's a enigma in his own right, but he did do this, and I think that's really cool. Although I'm pretty sure somebody's gonna, you know, pretend as if it's not good, you know, because that's just the kind of, I don't know, situation in regards to MrBeast that we have nowadays. But he did put out this post. Let me see. The YouTuber added that if anyone close to Stu knows how he can help, they should reach out. Whether it's supporting Stu's child as a fan or helping with hospital bills, he made it clear he was willing to help out in any way possible. And then he said, "Dang, man, this hurts to see, especially because I read he was a veteran that used wrestling as an outlet to get over his PTSD. Genuinely, if anyone connected to him knows of a way I can help, please reach out. If his kid is a fan or I can help with hospital bills, I don't know, but I'll help." Which is really fucking cool, you know what I mean? Like I said, it's MrBeast, so I'm pretty sure someone's gonna try some way to like ruin this, because they kind of do this all the time. I know I've seen a bunch of controversy with MrBeast and the whole stuff when he was helping the blind kids, and you know, like I think I even seen something recently, not too long ago, about him being in some situation when he was giving money away or something like that, and people got pissed off at that too. But to be fair, again, these cretins, these psychopaths, these creatures, they're a subsect of the audience. They do not make up the majority. They are in the vast minority. So, you know, we'll only keep them in mind for certain things, such as sticking shits up their rectums and watching them bleed out on the spot. No, I'm joking. But no, nevertheless, though, really cool for MrBeast to be doing something like that. And now we get to the health update, because I feel like this is super important. Also, as we talked about yesterday with Psycho Stu, he was in critical condition, and it seems like he still is in rough shape right now. But apparently, he seems to be stable. So Andrew Smith, which I guess is his brother, he took to Facebook And he started to show that he is happy for all the kind words that he's getting. And, he wants to thank the fans for their support while emphasizing the severity of the situation. He says, and I quote, talking about Psycho Stu in his update, he's currently stable, but in critical care. At this time, we're focused on his recovery and appreciate all the support. And if it would have ended right there, that would have been fine, because obviously we want to have these updates. I mean, I would like to have an update as to whether or not Roger Jackson is arrested, and we'll get to that in a minute. But as far as updates go, I would much prefer to hear more updates on Stu and his situation. It seems like he's recovering, but you never know. These things, they have a tendency of always flipping on its head. And I just wish Stu the best of health as always. And no one should ever be stuck in that kind of situation, especially a guy like him who gave his life for his country, and now he's in this position, right? It fucking sucks. But you know what else sucks that coincides with this? His brother put this directly under it, right? He said, "We currently do not have GoFundMe set up. Any links posted are not affiliated with us." So from what that is telling me, I can only presume, I can only assume that there are people going out of their way and they're taking advantage of the situation that Stu's currently in at the moment, and they're posting fake links to GoFundMe to pretend as if they're the ones getting service from this situation. We're such terrible human beings. What is going on, bro? What is going on? And I know people are going to probably most likely jump in and be like, well, Devontae, maybe not generalize. It's not all of us. It's just these certain assholes who are doing things like that, which is fine, which is true. But it still illustrates the worst in society nowadays when you see shit like this. Holy fuck. There are actually people going around pretending as if they're Stu Smith in a situation where he is literally on the brink of life and death because some fucking lunatic going around and beating up people, well, beating up him in particular. Don't want to spread unnecessary rumors, although I probably can, be it at least there be some type of consequences, damn it. But no, that goes beyond saying, don't do that. Stop being an asshole. Stop pretending to be a Stu and collecting money when it's not due to you. The fact that has to be said alone just speaks again to just how terrible society is. But I mean, I just said it already, right? That alone speaks to how terrible society is. Speaking of how terrible society is, our good old pal Rampage Jackson, he has some things to say in the past that I didn't know about, and some of you guys are saying it in the comment section, and I ended up finding a video on it, and I feel like it's only relevant if I play this video here, just so at the very least we can have better context, and then we can talk a little bit more about it.
Roger and his oldest son, whole life, I knew them two wasn't going to college, and my two Japanese kids, I knew that it was going to college, so I saved up college tuition for the two Japanese kids and bail money for Roger and his brother. So don't fuck with him. If you go to jail, I'm just going to bail him out.
And at the same time, you know what's crazy? There are people still going out of their way to defend. Now, I will say this. Yesterday, I made a horrible mistake, and I do want to go on the record and apologize for it. I did bring up the parenting skills of Rampage Jackson and Roger Jackson's mom, who, unbeknownst to me, apparently the lady is no longer with us. She passed away. So I do apologize for that. I had no clue. I probably should have looked that up, but I didn't think it was even a point to look up. Like, I just assumed that he had parents like I would do for anybody else. But that's no excuse, though. His mom is no longer with us, so her parenting skills have nothing to do with why Roger turned out the way he turned out. But as you can see in the video right here with Rampage Jackson, and then you conflate that with the hospital fight from what we heard, or not the hospital fight, but from the previous fight that put him in the hospital, Roger Jackson, that was based off of what Rampage Jackson did to him. And then apparently, because again, I'm not a UFC guy, I'm not a guy who follows UFC, people say that Rampage Jackson has a history of violent outbursts also. So it just goes to show you that, again, I'm still going to stick to my point. I'm going to remove his mother from the situation, but I'm still going to stick to the point when referencing the fact that I feel like his upbringing, his raising, all that has to do, and it does play a part, and it's a melting pot of all these unfortunate circumstances that led up to Rampage Jackson's son, Roger Jackson, being the way that he ended up being. Like, I feel like people who are saying things like, oh, well, you can't blame Rampage for this. I even seen one guy say something like, you guys are acting like he can be sued. You guys are clowns. You can't sue Rampage Jackson. No one's going to sue Rampage Jackson, but where do you think Roger's going to get the money when he inevitably gets sued? And I'm pretty sure some lawyers who are savvy enough, they're going to find a way to involve Rampage Jackson to get him sued also. I don't know how they're going to do it, but they're going to try to find some way to implicate him. But even if he doesn't get sued, they're going to sue Roger, and where do you think Roger's going to get the money from? Where do you think Roger's going to get the money from? He's going to get it from his daddy. That's where he's going to get it from. And yes, I will absolutely go out of my way to blame Rampage for his upbringing. Like I said yesterday, the root cause of all this, yes, it does go back to Rampage Jackson. The main focal point, the person who should be in prison right now, or at least getting his day in court to prepare to go to prison, because he is going to prison, because there's no way he gets out of this. Right? There's no way he gets out of this. Right, society? Please, don't fail me. He's his own man. He's 25 years old. He made his decision. He decided to chase clout. He decided to get his head blown up by a bunch of marks inside his audience. And guess what? That's on him in the end of the day. But just to come right back, like I said, the root cause comes from a guy like Rampage Jackson, like you seen in that video right there. Dude outright, it sounds like he gave up on his son, and it sounds like he didn't even give him a fucking chance. Dude outright said, well, I raised money in order to put the other two to college, the half Japanese kids, right? But my son, this guy right here, I kind of just I saved bail money instead, because I knew he was going to be nothing. I knew he was going to be a piece of shit. I knew he was going to, well, let me not go that far, because maybe there's more context to it. Obviously, that was a 20-second clip. Maybe there's more to this. Maybe there's more nuance to it. All I'm suggesting is just based off of what we have here, I don't think there's any way that you can flip what he said and make it into a positive in order to suggest that he meant well by Raja. He gave him everything in life. It feels like Raja's somewhat of a nepo baby from what it looks like, at least growing up. And he was pretty much handed everything within the MMA world. And for him to still do the things that he did is some of the worst shit, because you have people who are unfortunate, who are not in the position of a Raja, who do much less in order to get their means, versus this guy who literally has daddy issues, or what it looks like. I mean, an actual fucking nepo daddy issue, baby. Where the fuck have we seen that before, right? Going out of his way to do as much damage as he did to this guy right here, who has a family, who probably has no money, at least not close to what his dad makes, and more or less has to now most likely live the rest of his life in pain or in misery, or at least his PTSD that he got from the military will most likely be heightened, because if he survives all this, well, what the fuck do you think nearly beating someone within the inch of their life is going to do to their PTSD, right? So in the end of the day, I go back to what Rampage just said right here, and I use that as even more evidence to suggest that, well, you wonder why Roger turned out the way he turned out. But like I said, no matter how you spin it, no matter how you want to tell yourself, no matter what you want to tell yourself, both of these guys, in my opinion, are pieces of human garbage. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that so much about Rampage, although I do feel like his parenting skills does play a part in it. So maybe I'll remove him from the situation as far as calling him a piece of shit. But I will say that he enabled a piece of shit. Is that okay to say? The guy enabled a piece of shit. And now, like I said, the series will continue. We'll keep following this. I might have to make this his own playlist when it's all said and done. We'll keep following this entire situation as time goes on, as we get up to the eventual, I would think, the eventual arrest of Raja Jackson. And we'll follow up to see what Rob Van Dam has to say, because I'm very curious as to what he's going to allude to in order to make this seem right and justified. And also, I want to see what Rikishi is going to say also, considering he runs that promotion. I'm just curious to see what his words are going to be, because he's been saying a lot of dumb shit lately himself in his own right. But with that being said, folks, my name is Devontae, and we'll be revisiting this whole situation as time goes on. So I'll be catching you fine folks later. A deuces and a P ice.